Duncan, and let's get after it. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Let's Get It. I'm your host, Randy Duncan, along with my co-host, Marcus Bullock. Again, my co-host and producer, Jason Bryce, coming to you on a snowy Sunday afternoon, Super Bowl Sunday show. We have a phenomenal show later on. We're going to have Coach Joe Warren joining us to give a Super Bowl preview. In our third segment, we're going to have Coach Allen from Cherry Hill East High School basketball, boys basketball, joining us also. But in our first segment, there is one thing we know we have to get to, and that's the Carson Wentz talk, which I'm sure I'm going to take a beating for. But before we get into everything like usual, Marcus, how are you this morning, sir?
I was doing great till the snow started coming, man. Like I'm done with the snow. I'm done with it. But no, other than that, everything's going well, man. It's good time in the sports world, so there's a lot going on, a lot to talk about, a lot to keep us busy. So everything's going well.
And Jay, I know that you're just chomping at the bit, Mom. Can't wait to let you get into it. How you doing, man?
Yo, you know what? I'm doing well. I share the same sentiments. I'm already sick of snow. So hopefully, unless the snow is enabling us to have some more days off, then I'm okay with it. But for the most part, no, I'm sick of it. I don't want to drive in it, and I don't want to go well. Don't want to shovel it. So, other than that, I'm doing well. Still corona free, so we thank God for that. I had a chance to go back home yesterday, so that's always refreshing. Go back home, see some familiar faces, be around some familiar people that that care and love and stuff like that. So that's all good stuff. Disappointing week though, but we get better though. You know what I'm saying? It's all good.
Oh, okay. I think you say a disappointing week with a little smirk on your face.
No. Disappointing week because it really was a disappointing week.
Right. Well, I was gonna say, I
Right.
didn't know if it was
Right.
personal or if it was related.
So I may be taking it out on you today with the Carson. Because I'm going in.
I know you
what
are.
I'm saying?
I know.
And I know you're sad too.
You know
you
what?
have a smile on your face, but you're not really smiling.
Here's the thing, and to get into it, once again, of course, the latest information is that Carson Wentz will be traded. It's not an if, it's more a matter of when. We even have potential trade offers are out on the table. The biggest one right now I'm hearing, which just has to make me laugh, is Carson Wentz to the Chicago Bears for Nick Foles, Tariq Cohen, and the Bears' 20th overall pick in next year's draft. I just have to laugh at the fact that Carson's sitting here already in the shadow of Nick, and then he's going to be traded with Nick as part of the package. I just have to laugh about it. Go ahead, Jay. I see.
I'm not sure why you're laughing about it. Like I think that's like sometimes it was out of order, and I think that sometimes if you want to kind of restore order, you got to just make up for your mistakes. It was a mistake getting rid of Nick Foles. He brought you all your glory. He brought you the pride that you walk with in the work when you say that. Hey, listen, you know what? I'm a Philadelphia Eagle fan, and we won a championship. He brought that. He made that reality for you. And now, you know what? You dissed him, and you said, nah, I want Wentz. Forget about what Nicky Foles did. Forget about all the sacrifices he made during coming in, being second fiddle, because no one, correct me if I'm wrong, no one likes to play second fiddle. No. But you know what? He remained professional, came in the game, brought the team, victories.
Yeah, but with all due respect, he came here knowing he was the backup. Like, it wasn't like he came here with an idea of you're going to get a chance to be the starter. So it's not like he signed on to be an opportunity to be the starter and then was, put in the back burner.
Well, correction, Randy. No one plays the game accepting a role as a backup to say that's where I'm just going to stay there forever.
But Nick Foles but the thing is, though, Nick Foles in his career, and still to this day, Nick Foles has had about 8 to 10 good games in his career. Granted, some of them were in the most major stage.
His career as a Philadelphia Eagle is pretty good, though, right?
No, here's the thing, though. He's only had those few big games. Obviously, they were in the biggest spotlight.
Was that the answer to the question that his career games with the Eagles is pretty good?
Yeah.
Okay.
Pretty good.
All right. I'm not sure how good it is in comparison with Carson. I think that's a good stat maybe to hear.
No, Carson absolutely has better stats than Nick, and we could go back and find.
I'm talking about with the Eagles, like.
No, absolutely
Okay.
no.
Really?
Carson. The thing is, and I will say this: Carson's numbers.
We need a statistician because I don't even think that you're confident in that.
No, I know this.
I don't think that you're confident. I'm looking at you. I don't think that you're confident.
No, I know this 100%.
That he has better statistics than Nicky Foles with the Eagles.
Absolutely.
Okay. How about one bigger games?
Well, in that case,
okay,
no,
right,
he has
exactly.
not done it. He has not done it. You know,
It's all good.
No, and here's the thing, and Marcus, I'm going to get to you in a minute, but like with this whole situation, it's not even just, and I know you wanted to touch on this, Marcus, I'm going to let you elaborate more. It's how the organization looks now in moving on from Carson after what they've done. So, Marcus, I know you had some thoughts on that.
Yeah, the main thing I don't understand about the whole situation is right after the season ended, we were led to believe that it came down to either keeping Carson or keeping Doug. And now, so they went, we're going to ride with Carson. Carson's our guy. We're going to get rid of Doug. We're not going to let Doug make that decision. Okay, and we've kind of, you know, not everybody was happy with that, but we lived with it. Okay, you got to keep the quarterback. Like, that made sense to us. Like, you keep the quarterback. You owe him all this money. We made all these trades. We traded up to get him. You know, we lost picks, all that. Okay, cool. But now, we're just going to trade him too. So, and I think it's becoming fairly obvious now to everyone what the problem in this organization is.
Hands down.
Because it's literally like, I feel like my 5-year-old son is running the organization.
You know what? Honestly, your son might be better off right now. But I mean, you know, because the problem at the end of the day, and that's where it starts at the top with Jeffrey Lurie's loyalty to Howie Roseman. That's the issue. Is Howie doesn't know what he's doing here, and that's what I think frustrates Eagles fans the most. It's not just the fact that, you know, we're in disarray. And I mean, look, and here's the thing, I'm not rooting against Jalen Hurts. I'm not rooting against whoever comes in. Like, as a fan, I want to see them succeed. So to me right now, going into the next season, you know, let's say Jalen Hurts is the starter. Okay, let's go Hurts. I hope you succeed and perform well. It's a lot of Eagles fans are like now so angry at the team that they want to see it fail. And they want to just see it completely go downhill. And it's like, as a fan, like, I don't want to see that your team fail. I don't want to see, what you have is what you have. You just ride with it. If you're a real, you know, not if you're a real fan, but you got to roll with what you have. But the frustrating thing, like you said, is that you now go into it where you have Jalen Hurts, whoever it is that comes back. If you get a Nick Foles back in the trade, okay, Nick could either be the starter or he could be a veteran backup. It's just, what is it? My biggest fear now is what is their direction going to be in the draft?
Well,
and that's my fear. Like, I can see the Eagles drafting another quarterback.
I don't think they don't. I don't think that's the problem. I'm going to cut you off, Jim. Like, there is no direction.
Exactly.
There's no direction. There's no game plan. There's no, all right, here's what we're going to do. Or here's what we need. Here's what we have to fill. Here's the, like, it doesn't make any sense. Like, there's no plan.
I agree with that. I mean, you can clearly see that when they got rid of Peterson.
Right.
And then they brought in Sirianni. You know what I'm saying? But I will say that they're probably bringing in Foles to mentor Hurts.
Yeah.
You know, something that Foles attempted to do with Wentz, but because Wentz either, you know, unfortunately, you know, he had that, you know, that Glass Joe thing going on. And then at the same time, he wasn't necessarily a humble guy, so he wasn't able to kind of instill those, you know, superb qualities that he has onto Carson Wentz. So hopefully he'll have the opportunity to do that with Hurts. And I think you're going to see Hurts as the quarterback. I think it's just time to me, I think I would have kept Peterson and got rid of, you know, Wentz.
That's something we don't usually agree, but I agree that.
But I will tell you that, you know, the fact that they're getting rid of Wentz, I'm like, okay, you know what? Sometimes, you know what? You have to just clean house. And I can understand that move. Sometimes you just got to clean house.
But if you're going to clean house, start with the roof. You know what I mean? The roof is Howie Roseman.
Right, but Howie, I don't even know. Listen, Howie Roseman and Jeffrey Lurie, they are attached to the hip.
Absolutely.
So that is what it is. You know what I'm saying? That combination, I mean, you can talk whatever you want to talk about Roseman, but if you look at his track record, on paper, he's a pretty good GM.
No, he's made some good signings, but the problem.
I mean, when was he thrust into this role?
I gotta go back. I want to say it was like 2012.
2012. So if I'm going for a job and I got a resume, and in my resume I'm putting all my accomplishments from 2012 up until now, the damn resume is pretty good, bro. I'm just saying it is. I mean, think about it. He drafted Wentz, who you loved, and who is a whole bunch of
2010.
There's a whole bunch of Carsoners. You know what I'm saying?
But if you go through their roster and the moves that he's made, I would say he has more misses than he has hits.
He won a chip though.
But the other thing is,
agreed.
Right, but here's the thing though. The problem that Howie has done is that Howie has doubled down on bad moves. Like he signed, like for example, you go and like you sign Alshon Jeffrey, a great pickup, but then you go and you give him an unnecessary 3-year contract after that.
Well, you rewarded him based upon what he did in the Super Bowl.
But you don't need to do that.
Well, listen, they didn't need to reward Wentz. I mean, Wentz's fall and Jeffrey's fall is kind of synonymous with each other. They're very congruent to me. They both fell.
They did, but Jeffrey before that, like I said, he had his injuries and whatnot. But then you go and you didn't need to reward Alshon Jeffrey.
He played in the Super Bowl. Okay, he did more to me than Wentz. He played in the Super Bowl.
I agree with that, but at the same time, Wentz's trajectory was going up. We thought because he's young.
Right.
Jeffrey was
We're very assumptive.
Jeffrey was clearly on the way down.
Sure.
As was a lot of the players that they decided to keep after the Super Bowl and extend them past. Now I get like we have to, let's reward the guys. I get that. Like,
everybody's gonna cash in. You know what I'm saying?
But most of the time, and if you'll see with these successful franchises, guys who cash in don't cash in where they played well.
Right. Exactly.
No, that's true. I give you that.
That's what I was going to say. A lot of teams, for example, it seemed like the New England Patriots signed plenty of big guys for that 1 year to go help us to the run to the Super Bowl. Thank you, shake hands, move on.
Yeah, but they didn't always. They had a foundation already built. For them to be able to do that. So they're under the mantra like, hey, listen, it's more for you to play for me than it is for, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. But Philly can't take that perspective.
The other problem too is it's not just the signings, it's the multiple misses in the draft.
No, to me, if we're gonna vilify Roseman, his biggest crime is what?
Here's the thing.
Right. Stuttering. That's what I'm saying. What's his biggest crime?
His biggest crime is signing Wentz early.
Thank you. That's the biggest crime. So let's get rid of it.
You gotta understand trajectory. You like to use the word trajectory all the time.
Yeah, sure.
He got Carson at what was going to be a cheaper deal than if he waited. But you're right. He got injured and the trajectory went splat. But they had no choice to do that after what they mortgaged.
There's always
they mortgaged the future when they moved up in the draft.
I'll say this, I agree with both. I think that signing Wentz early was, at the time, we all thought it was the right thing to do.
I never did.
You're not an Eagles guy, so I understand that. But if they hit on more of these draft picks, I don't think that Wentz looks as bad. If he's got
Justin Jefferson and DK Metcalf on each side of
Is that what you're saying, though, Marcus? Because you know what road he's going down. So I want to make sure that because it's different.
Let's say instead of this being an absolute failure of a year, where everything it would have just been that was a bad year. We gotta get better for next year. As opposed to now we don't have a coach, we don't have a quarterback, we don't have anything. I think if
you have something.
I think if they draft better, it's more like a 6-10 season, and we're like, that sucked, but we still have thoughts.
Right. The only reason I'm saying that is because, see, when you say that, he's like, yeah, right. You know what? If Carson had, I can see him gearing up for that. Right. I can see him gearing up.
But it's true. If Carson had weapons, if Carson had some weapons, but at the same time, it's also not because Carson has been able to succeed without having significant weapons. So the downfall of Carson is on him. The downfall of Carson doesn't because I mean even the year before they won, where he was able to throw 4,000 yards without having a single receiver, catch over more than 500. Like he was dealing with nobodies and was still able to have success. So after that, the failure that he's shown has been because of his lack of willingness to grow as a quarterback. Now
so he didn't have one receiver catch over 500 yards.
No.
So all of them had under 500.
Yeah. Yeah, so because it was last season when he threw for 4,000 yards, and it was like, see what he was able to do.
Okay.
Go get him a receiver, and that's when I was like, go get him a receiver last year. And
so they were more like receiver by committee last year.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. Okay, but they still got the job done though. So he didn't have that superb superstar wide receiver. Is that what you're talking about?
Correct.
Okay, so but he still had a receiver though.
He did.
Okay, so I don't understand the point. I'm just trying to understand the point. What's the celebration about the fact that he 4,000 yards without one receiver having over 500 yards?
Every good.
But you might have had like 10 receivers with like 400 something yards or something. I don't know. I'm just saying though. If you spread it out, it's just you don't have one singular person getting the job done. Is that what you kind of?
Correct.
Okay.
But in most quarterbacks, like I said, if they have that go-to guy, he never had the go-to guy. But at the same time, I'm still.
He hurts though.
He had Zach Ertz, yeah.
Which skews that whole thing because Ertz
Right.
is considered a tight end.
Right, and Ertz I think had 1,000-yard receiving.
I was
So-
okay, thank you. That's all. That's all.
But I'm still on your side. I'm actually on your side. We're in agreement.
I don't think so.
We're in agreement that Carson has struggled and has refused to work on the things that made him, not good. Like we talk about, the poor throws, the inaccuracy, the unwillingness to get rid of the football. Like I can't sit here and tell you that Carson Wentz has not dropped off significantly in his success. I mean, and it's my thing is this: is that if you're going to move forward and you're going to move on from Carson, I know that the rumors are out there, but just make it happen. Make it happen.
Right.
Like I said, this is
Get over and done with,
this is a
right?
bad
You're
relationship.
suffering.
Yeah, this is like a bad
suffering.
relationship that they've been like hurting me for, and I'm like, oh, this is going to be different. This is going to be different. It's not going to be different. And and the other thing is like, I see so many people are like, oh, Foles is coming back. Foles is coming back. Look, again, I have nothing against Nick Foles, but Nick Foles is not going to take this team back to the Super Bowl. Now, like
You didn't think he was going to take him to the Super Bowl in the first
I'm
place.
not kidding. You're
If
right.
I was Nick Foles, I would not want to come back to Philly.
No.
I think my only thing that could happen is my legacy gets damaged.
If I'm him, I would come back and I would say,
That's the
I'm-
only
I'm-
thing.
I'm-
Like he is a legend in Philadelphia.
Legend. Yes.
If he
Legend
comes
status.
out, like
forever.
Really? Is he a legend to you though?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, absolutely.
So you would take a picture with his statue
can
out
we get a
there?
round of applause for that?
Yeah, come on, please. Listen, let's give it.
I would.
Let's give it
I
to
would,
him.
all the meals that you see me preparing.
Yeah.
I would prepare Nick a meal out of thanks.
You know what? I'm not even going there. But yes,
You
okay.
know, I'm just saying.
See, that's that. That's that kid right there. Don't go there. But you're right though. You're right.
I would. I mean,
You would.
there's no reason you can say against it.
What would you prepare? See, you go with it.
What was I prepared
What
for?
would you prepare?
Well, I would ask him. I feel like, he likes, maybe like a salmon, some
Okay.
asparagus. He seems like a guy
That
that,
sounds good, right.
have a nice grace
Right.
before the meal.
What would you give? What would you give Carson?
Well, Carson, I probably just have to give him like some buffalo meat or something, or I don't know what. Right now, I wouldn't prepare. I don't know. I
You
mean,
wouldn't?
because I'd have to. You know what it would be like? It would be very difficult for me to sit at the table and not tell him my emotions about how much he hurt me and how much I was there for him and how much that he just because like I would be like I was there for you
No, you
and
weren't.
you
You
let
weren't.
me down.
No, and
you know,
he
every
said-
time you hurt my heart, I gave you another opportunity.
Yo, listen, he said nothing. Like he's
And that's the thing that
he
bothers
said
me, too.
nothing. And
What
silence is so big. You know what I'm saying? It's
Oh, that was just me. I was just really talking. Don't worry, that was not a COVID call.
wait, what's going on, man? Like, come on.
No, that was me getting worked up.
Yeah, I don't
But
know,
here's the
man.
thing.
But just on that, nobody else has said anything either. Which
Nobody,
makes it bigger than me.
nobody has,
Good point.
and even it was
Which
funny.
makes
Even
it
the other
like-
day, I saw, and I don't know if it was real or not, but it said Miles Sanders. As soon as they had talked about Adam Schefter had put out that he was going to be traded, Miles Sanders on his Twitter was like, "We Super Bowl bound, y'all." And I
Yeah, I
mean,
saw that.
I don't know if it was real or not, but I wouldn't be surprised
yeah.
because. But here's the thing, though. At the end of the day, like I just want to know if he ever says anything.
Well,
Because he could really, like, if they trade him, he does, yeah, of course they could ask him for an interview, but he could decline it. He'd be like, I'm not an Eagle now, I'm a Chicago Bear. And not give the, I mean,
He's gonna have to speak at some.
he's going to have to
At
say
some
something.
point.
Whether he gets traded.
But
in
he's
that
never
interview,
going to
somebody's gonna
say
say that.
what truly happened. Even if he does get traded and he has he's going to say, I thank the Philadelphia, for the time here. I'm excited for my new opportunity in Chicago. He's going to go with that. I want to hear the honesty from Carson, however it may be, whether he, whether it's, he's obviously not going to say I fell off the map, but I want to hear from his side of the story. And that's I think what's bothering Eagles fans the most too, is that you haven't heard anything from Carson.
Let me ask you, how would you feel if Nick does come back, it goes down, and the Eagles are now in contention for another Super Bowl?
Well, they're not.
No, I'm just saying.
If
What, how would you feel?
I just have to laugh, but I have to support it.
Right.
I have to, but they're not. But the thing is, it's not even just the quarterback. Like I said, I'm interested to see though, because people. I mean, Hurts had some good games, and Hurts' mobility was nice. But at the end of the day, like I said, Hurts wasn't. I'm not convinced that Hurts can be your quarterback in the future.
I agree with that. That's what's kind of hitting me. Like everybody's celebrating Carson Lee, which I get. but we still don't know if he's the quarterback.
Well, I think. Listen, maybe if we get him those same weapons that we fought for Carson, he might be, he might be okay. But here's the one thing, though. We know there's one thing that's 10 times better about Hurts than Carson.
The locker room likes it.
The leadership. Come
you
on. That's
can't
clear as day, bro.
It is. I mean, like we talked about the other day, when we had
And
that
people
show.
will take leadership over talent or whatever any day. Like
100%.
people
How many
listen.
times-
People want to be led, especially if you're in a position that you have to follow and whatever. People want to be
And he does
led.
have the pedigree. Like he went to Oklahoma, he went to Alabama,
Right.
He was able to get to the national championship. He went to
So he
Oklahoma,
played with the
he
pressure.
brought them to the national
Yeah.
championship.
Right.
He did, and I mean, and here's the thing: like people say, oh, he lost his job to Tua at Alabama. Yeah, he lost his job to Tua, who was drafted with number 3 overall.
Mhm.
It's not like he lost his job to some scrub. I mean, think about now if you were at Michigan and you lost your job to Tom Brady. At the time, it was like, oh, you lost your job to the guy who was the 200th overall pick, not now the potential greatest quarterback of all time.
Right.
So, like you said, though, he does have the locker room. I think that it's going to be interesting of what comes out. But, the Eagles have moves that they have to make this offseason. And, at the same time, too, I mean, trajectory-wise, you look at the division. I mean, I think the Giants are on a better trajectory right now. I think that the Washington Redskins, or the Washington football team, are on a trajectory with nice young players. And even the Cowboys, like I said, they still have, people talk about. I love Dak Prescott. I think that he's, and I've.
Well, you didn't, on a previous show, because I will find the tape. You went with Carson is better than that.
No, I didn't.
All right.
No.
Okay. Okay.
I
Ladies and
thought-
gentlemen, I will be finding that
Oh,
tape.
no. I would tell you this.
I thought Carson, I'm not going to say not the past season, the season before that, I thought Carson was
He
better.
was, but here's the thing. I want to go back to one.
Whenever Zeke was hurt and Dak struggled big time, that's what I said.
But here's the thing. You want to go with talking about. Go back to the tapes. You want to go back and get the tapes. Go back to the tapes where I said that I was always a fan of Dak Prescott, and the Eagles never should have traded up for Carson Wentz and should have gone and gotten Dak Prescott to be their quarterback in like the 3rd round. And now it would have been a completely different future for the Eagles.
We argued over. I mean, and that's fine. That's just how I'm gonna find the tape. But just to refresh your memory, we argued over the fact that you said that Wentz is better, miles apart. His numbers are better, and Dak had no playoff victory, and we had that little debate. Right? Okay. So that's fine. I mean, listen. At the end of the day, I just feel like, listen, it's been all this I thought Wentz was a prima donna. I thought that he had, a good year or two, especially that 11-3, right?
Yeah.
So I still think it always reminds me of Robert Griffin III, right? Robert Griffin came in the league, and he brought the league by storm.
Yeah.
Unstoppable.
I mean, Lamar kind of the same way. Lamar
a
regressed
little bit,
this
but
year.
Lamar might have a little bit more skill than RG3, I think. Okay, but I felt like once the league caught up with RG3, he's no more good. And he got injured too.
Yeah, that's what worries me about Hurts.
Because
he's a little undersized. But,
he is undersized.
but the thing is though, he's kind of like Russell
But he's a little
Wilson.
more stockier than.
Right,
for sure.
Right,
Yeah.
like Russell Wilson's only 5'11", but he's stocky like Hurts.
Right.
My biggest thing, and we're going to end on this before we go to commercial. Once again, our next segment, we're going to be having our Super Bowl preview, so you're going to want to stick around for that, which Coach Joe Warren. The one thing I will say is, wherever Carson goes, I'm interested to see of his success, and if he does have success. Now, I also think Chicago may be too big of a spotlight for him, too much of a football town. Like, I still think, because even when we talk about North Dakota, like, not that he wasn't good out there, but let's be honest. The only people rooting for the University of North Dakota are people from North Dakota.
True.
Nobody's paying attention
True.
to the North Dakota team.
True.
But, like, that's why I was kind of saying that, like, for, Chicago is a football town. Chicago is national media. You'll get the Monday night games against the Packers. You'll get the big games against the Vikings. How does he do in that spotlight? I still think that for him to succeed, and of course the Eagles are going to look for their trade partner, he would have been better off getting traded to a team like a Denver Broncos or somewhere like that, which is a little bit of a smaller football market.
I mean, maybe so. I mean, I just think that, listen, I mean, will you be rooting for him? Let me ask you that question. Are you going to be rooting for him wherever he goes?
Am I going to be rooting for Carson?
Yes.
At this point, I have no allegiance to him. I have no allegiance to him. I mean, I really, because
He doesn't even believe
But
it.
here's the thing. Though, because here's the thing, because it's like, okay, if I was with somebody and we had happiness and then we had anger, like, I don't want to see them. I mean, I want to see them be happy, but at the same time, I just.
Ladies and gentlemen, listen, ladies and gentlemen, this is Nick Sirianni Jr. Fumbling the bag.
It's actually funny not to mention that. To follow up on the Sirianni, I've heard a lot of talk though from players supporting Sirianni.
They actually like him, I heard.
And talking about the fact that even when he was in front of the Colts players, sometimes he didn't address the team the best.
Right.
They said on an individual basis, they said that he knows what he's talking about.
Yeah.
So the jury's out on that. And again, Nick Sirianni, and that's the thing too. I hope nobody puts fault on Nick Sirianni because this guy is just. You can't blame him. He got an opportunity to be a head coach. But going back to it, do I root for Carson outside of here?
Yes, you do. Everybody's saying yes, man.
I think that I want to see because it also makes as a sports fan, it makes for even better debate and conversation. If Carson goes out and is great, then people are going, oh, well, look what we did. We made the wrong decision.
So you're only going to root for him because of sports fans and debating? Is that what you're saying?
Well, right now I just think that you got to look at what it is.
No, man, you love him, bro.
I'm a big fan. But again, he doesn't mean anything to me anymore if he's on a different team.
Okay, all right.
He doesn't mean anything to me anymore.
We'll see.
Like I'm not gonna be like,
What if
I just hope that the next quarterback. I just hope maybe I'm just mad that I bought the jersey because that buying a jersey and spending that money until I'm saying
It's an investment.
right.
Yeah.
I remember I bought that jersey before when my buddies and I went out to Seattle to watch the Eagles, and when we could travel and stuff, we used to go on a guys trip out. We went to Seattle, we went to Tennessee. It was supposed to be the plan, and I got that jersey. I was so hyped to have my jersey. I slept with it. I slept with it on, and
again, and you know what? Listen, what if Carson, on his way out of Philly, you know how everybody writes a little thing. What if he had?
Bye to you and Russ?
He said, yeah, right. What if he?
A magical moment.
Then now,
Eagles fan.
Right.
If he acknowledges, me and Ruff, I might be a Bears fan.
Right.
You never know. But
you're a Carson fan.
I don't know. Like I said, it's
That's
just
all right. That's all right.
It's just like you said. At the end of the day, I know there's rumors, and I know that obviously with the Super Bowl, I mean, I don't think they're going to come out and do it. But I want to see it happen in the next couple days, and
I just think like what a story it is for Nick Foles, though.
It's unbelievable. I mean, but like Marcus said,
that's 3 times, right?
Yeah, 3 times.
And on the first time they got him back, he won a Super Bowl.
Right.
Second time they got, second time they won a Super Bowl, right?
Correct. But we'll see. Like Marcus said though too, like I almost for him, I just want to kind of sit back, be that mentor, and not do anything to tarnish with his amazing story already. So
I'm saying like he's comfortable in Philly though. Like
No,
the guys like playing for him. Alshon, I mean, you saw Hurts kind of like re-energize Alshon.
And going back to
you saw him re-energize guys. Leadership does that, bro.
It does. Going back to leadership we talked about before, you never should have gotten rid of Malcolm Jenkins.
Oh, yeah, I agree.
Malcolm Jenkins was a glue, just like Brian Dawkins was a glue,
I agree.
and that is also where they fell apart, and that was the start of the fall apart. So with that said, we'll cut to a quick commercial break.
I don't know if that was the start of the fall part. I'm sorry, but okay.
Okay. Well, I'm saying it was a key part of it.
The key part was giving Carson the keys after 11-3, even though he didn't win the Super Bowl. But anyway, we'll go. That's all right. Go ahead. I'm sorry. I interrupted his script and spiel. Go ahead. I'm sorry, man.
It's all right. Listen, but like I said, Marcus, before we go to anything you want to add in before we go to break?
No, I think the Malcolm Jenkins piece lost a lot of the team. I think the team.
I agree with that.
The team was pissed about that. I think that from the general manager ownership, I think that bothered them.
Yeah, it definitely did. So, any last words, Jay?
Carson, peace. I'm gonna see you later. And he's gotta go, man. And you know what? Listen, I'm praying and very hopeful for all those Carsonites out there that listen, he didn't really do nothing that special like that, man. You're believing in fool's gold. You know what I'm saying? Just it's gonna be all right. The real champion, if it does go down that Nicky Foles is coming back, that's the real one. That's the real thing. Why are you gonna root for somebody that's not the real thing? You guys can't see it, but our camera woman's got a big smile looking right at me. Because she understands. She knows it too. Don't go with the false thing. Go with the real thing. You know what I mean? All right. And with that said, I'm gonna end it on this because we all got our last word. I'm gonna end this segment with this. The Super Bowl doesn't happen without Carson.